The stars were shining above a quiet alien world. It was a place full of beauty, with silver forests and glowing rivers. But inside one small home, silence ruled. An alien mother sat by the side of her young daughter. Her daughter's eyes were full of life, but her body did not move. She was paralyzed since birth, unable to walk, unable to play, unable to even hold her mother's hand every day. The mother carried her child to the window. She watched other children running outside, chasing each other, laughing and shouting. Her own daughter only watched with silent tears. The mother's heart broke again and again. She whispered to herself, "Why her? Why must my child suffer while others run free?" The family had traveled across their star system searching for answers. Doctors of their own kind had examined the child. Machines scanned her body, healers tried rare medicines, but the answer was always the same. The child could not be cured. The doctors spoke in cold voices. "She will never move. You must accept this." The mother shook her head, refusing to believe it. Her heart screamed louder than any doctor's words. As months turned into years, the child grew weaker. Her small body began to fade, while her spirit burned bright. Sometimes she would say to her mother, "Mama, I want to run." And the mother would smile with tears in her eyes. "One day, my child, one day you will run." But deep inside, she felt the weight of hopelessness. The galaxy was wide, but no cure existed anywhere. The silence of despair filled their home. Then something strange began to happen. Across the trade routes of the galaxy, whispers spread. Merchants spoke of a new species, fragile in body but fierce in will. They were called humans, unlike others. These humans did not believe in the word impossible. They fought against death, against weakness, against nature itself. They built machines that replaced lost limbs. They healed the blind. They even rebuilt broken hearts. Aliens who saw them called it madness. But for the desperate, these whispers were hope. The mother listened to the stories in silence. Her people warned her. "Do not trust the humans, they are reckless. They break the laws of life." But her heart began to burn with a dangerous thought. What if they can save my child? That night, she sat beside her daughter. The little girl was asleep, her face calm under the pale light of the twin moons. The mother touched her hand gently. Though it gave no response, she whispered, "My love, if there is even one chance, I will find it." The next morning, she began her journey. She sold everything she had to buy passage across the stars. Her people called her foolish. They said she was chasing lies, but she did not listen. Every step she took, every coin she paid, was for her daughter's chance to live. Her journey was long and full of fear. She passed through space stations filled with strange faces. She crossed barren moons and crowded ports. But she never stopped at last. She reached a place where humans lived. It was not a grand world, not a shining palace. It was a space station made of steel and glass. Circling a quiet star, the mother stood trembling at the gates. Holding her daughter close, her heart was full of both fear and hope. Would these strange humans laugh at her as others had? Or would they try to do what no one else dared? Inside the station, she saw them for the first time. Humans were smaller than she expected. Their skin was soft, their bodies fragile, their eyes full of fire. They walked with purpose, spoke with passion, and carried tools of strange design. When one of them saw her struggling with her child, he rushed forward to help. His hands were gentle as he supported the girl. The mother's heart trembled. These creatures were not what she imagined. They were different, very different. A human doctor soon approached. He listened carefully to the mother's story. Unlike the alien doctors, he did not laugh. He did not dismiss her hope. Instead, he placed his hand over his chest and said, "We do not promise miracles, but we will try." The words were simple, but to the mother, they were brighter than the stars. For the first time, she felt the heavy chains of despair begin to crack. For the first time, she saw a small light shining in the darkness. The alien mother held her child close. Her heart whispered a single truth, maybe, just maybe. These humans could change everything. The space station was alive with sound and motion. Engines rumbled in the distance. Voices of many species echoed through the halls. The alien mother clutched her paralyzed daughter in her arms. Stepping carefully through the wide gates, her heart pounded like a drum. Her eyes scanned the new world around her. She had never left her homeworld before. But for her child, she had crossed the stars. Humans were everywhere. They walked in groups, carrying strange tools, speaking in their quick language. They looked fragile compared to the other alien races, smaller, softer, with no claws, no hard shells, no natural armor, and yet there was something in their eyes. A burning fire, a restless energy. The mother had never seen such determination in any other species. She kept her head low, nervous. Her people had warned her. Humans are reckless, they are dangerous. They will promise much but give nothing. But when one of them saw her struggling with her child's weight, he rushed to her side without hesitation. His hands were gentle as he supported the girl. "Let me help," he said in a calm voice. The mother froze, shocked by his kindness. This was not what she expected. He guided her to a medical hall deep inside the station. The walls glowed with soft light. Machines hummed quietly. There, human doctors and engineers worked side by side. It was not like the cold hospitals of her world. Here there was warmth in every corner. Not just machines, but smiles. Not just patients, but family. A doctor approached. A woman with tired eyes but a steady voice. She knelt to see the child. Her gaze soft yet sharp. "What is her name?" the doctor asked. The mother whispered the name of her daughter. Her voice shaking, the doctor touched the girl's tiny hand. Though it did not move, then she looked at the mother. "We will examine her," she said, "and then we will talk." The mother waited with her heart on fire. Other aliens had told her before, nothing can be done. Accept it. Would the humans say the same, or would they truly try? Hours passed. Machines scanned the girl's fragile body. Strange lights traced her nerves. Tiny sensors listened to her heartbeat. Humans spoke in quiet voices. Pointing to glowing screens, the mother sat in silence, clutching her hands together. Every second felt like an eternity. Finally, the doctor returned. Her face was serious but not cold. She sat down across from the mother and spoke slowly. "She was born with damage in her spine," the doctor said. "Her body cannot send signals to her limbs." The words were not new. The mother had heard this before. But then the doctor's voice grew stronger. "We cannot restore what was lost, but we can build something new." The mother's breath caught. "What do you mean?" she asked. The doctor leaned forward, her eyes burning with quiet fire. "We will design an artificial system," she explained. "A bridge between her mind and her body. A way to carry the signals she was denied." The mother blinked in shock. "No one has ever done this," she whispered. The doctor gave a small smile. "That is why we are human." The mother's heart shook. Other species had only ever told her to give up. But these fragile beings dared to challenge the impossible. It frightened her, yet it also filled her with hope. Not everyone in the hall agreed. 2 alien observers stood at the edge, whispering to each other. "This is madness," one said. "The child will not survive such experiments." "They will kill her," the other added. "Humans play with life as if it were clay." The mother heard their words and trembled. Fear gripped her chest. What if they were right? What if these humans failed and her child was lost forever? But then she looked at the doctor. She saw no cruelty, no coldness, only determination. The doctor's voice echoed again. "We do not promise miracles, but we will try." That night, the mother sat by her daughter's bedside in the human station. The child slept peacefully, unaware of the storm of fear and hope around her. The mother's hands shook as she brushed the girl's hair. She whispered, "My love, should I trust them? Should I let them risk everything for you?" The silence gave no answer, only the sound of machines breathing softly in the dark. But in her heart, the mother felt something she had not known in years. It was small, fragile, and dangerous. It was hope. She closed her eyes, holding her daughter close, and for the first time, she thought, maybe, just maybe, these humans were different. Maybe they could do what no one else dared. Maybe they could change everything. The medical hall was quiet when the alien mother returned the next morning. Her child lay surrounded by soft lights and humming machines. Humans moved around with calm steps, their voices low but steady. It was not a place of despair, but of work, of effort, of a strange kind of hope. The mother had spent the night torn between fear and faith. The galaxy had told her 100 times nothing can be done. But here the humans had spoken different words. They had promised not certainty, but an attempt, a promise to fight, even against the impossible. The lead doctor came forward, the same woman with tired but fiery eyes. She placed a small tablet on the table between them. On its screen was a design, strange shapes, glowing wires and a pattern like a spine. This, the doctor said softly, is what we will build. The mother leaned closer, her hands trembling. What is it? She whispered. The doctor's voice grew firm. It is an artificial bridge. A system of nerves, wires, and living cells. It will carry signals from her mind to her body. The words felt like thunder in the mother's ears. No one has ever done such a thing, she said. The doctor gave a small smile. Then we will be the first. Around them, other aliens shook their heads. This is madness, muttered one observer. Humans cannot rewrite life itself. They risk destroying the child, said another. The mother's chest tightened with fear. But the humans ignored the doubts. They bent over their designs, their hands moving with focus. To them, it was not madness, it was a mission. Days passed. The humans studied the child's body. They mapped every broken nerve, every silent pathway. They spoke in their quick, sharp language, their faces serious. Sometimes they argued fiercely, sometimes they laughed. Sometimes they worked in silence, but always, their eyes carried the same fire, the refusal to give up. The mother watched them with growing wonder. Other species would have walked away, but these fragile beings leaned closer to the problem. Where others saw failure, they saw a challenge. Where others said accept fate, they said fight fate. One evening, the doctor sat with the mother again. She spoke honestly, her voice heavy with truth. The process will be dangerous, she said. Her body is weak. If the system fails, it could harm her more. The mother's hand shook. Her heart screamed to protect her child from risk. But her child's silent eyes reminded her of the years of stillness, she whispered. And if it works? The doctor's gaze softened. Then she will move. Then she will live as she was meant to live. The mother wept. For years she had begged the galaxy for help. And only here, among strangers, had she heard these words. The humans did not speak of laws or limits. They spoke of building a way where no way existed. Not all humans agreed, a young engineer whispered. Doctor, if we fail, the council will punish us. They say altering biology this way is forbidden. The doctor looked at him and answered firmly. Then let them punish us. We do not answer to fear. We answer to the child. Those words struck the mother's heart like lightning. No alien had ever spoken with such boldness, she began to understand. Humans were not just healers. They were fighters, not warriors of weapons, but warriors of hope. The work began. Strange machines printed living fibers that looked like nerves. Tiny sparks of energy flowed through wires thinner than hair. The humans tested again and again, throwing away what failed. Starting fresh without hesitation, every failure would have broken other species. But the humans only grew more determined. They were not afraid of falling. They were afraid of stopping. The child lay still, unaware of the storm of work around her. Her chest rose and fell gently, her eyes sometimes opening to look at her mother. The mother smiled through her tears, whispering, They are building a future for you. One night, as the mother walked past the workroom, she stopped at the doorway, hidden in the shadows inside. The humans worked tirelessly, their hands moving, their faces lit by glowing screens. The doctor whispered to her team, Every life is worth fighting for. Every child deserves a chance. The mother's eyes filled with tears. In that moment, she knew she had placed her daughter in the hands of beings unlike any other in the galaxy. The humans were not promising perfection. They were promising the one thing no other species dared to give, a chance, and in the silence of her heart, the mother felt something dangerous and beautiful take root. Not only hope, but faith in the humans who had chosen to fight the impossible. The space station grew restless as whispers spread. News traveled faster than light across the galactic channels. Humans were attempting something forbidden. They were trying to rebuild a paralyzed child's body with machines and living wires. Other species gathered to watch, their faces full of shock and disapproval. To many in the galaxy, such work was dangerous. The Galactic Council had long declared strict laws. No species may alter the natural design of life. No body may be rebuilt beyond its birth form. They called it the law of balance. To break it was to risk punishment, for they feared what might happen if life could be reshaped without limit. The alien mother heard these words and trembled. She held her child close as angry voices echoed around her. This is against the law, cried a tall reptilian envoy. They are playing with nature, hissed a pale, winged being. They endanger us all, declared another. The mother lowered her head, ashamed, but in her heart she whispered, If this is a crime, then let me be guilty too. Inside the medical hall, the humans ignored the storm. They worked with steady hands, adjusting wires, testing circuits. But even they could not avoid the council forever. One evening, a message arrived, sealed with the council's mark. The lead doctor read it in silence, her face hard as stone. The message was simple. Stop your work. Release the child. If you continue, you will be punished. The team fell into uneasy silence. Some looked at the doctor with fear, others with doubt. One engineer whispered, "If we continue, we risk everything." The doctor raised her head, her voice steady. "If we stop, she has nothing. If we continue, she has a chance." The words struck the mother's heart like fire. For the first time, someone valued her daughter more than the laws of the galaxy. But fear was still heavy in the air. The mother saw two sides of the humans that night. Some were afraid, thinking of the punishment that could fall upon them. Others burned brighter, ready to fight no matter the cost. And at the center stood the doctor, her voice clear. "We are humans. We do not surrender to fear. We will finish this work." The alien mother faced her own battle. She sat by her daughter's side, tears in her eyes. Was she selfish to allow this? If the humans failed, her child might die sooner than expected. If they succeeded, the entire galaxy might turn against them. Her heart twisted with fear, but then her daughter opened her eyes. Though her lips were weak, a whisper escaped. "Mama, I want to walk." The mother's decision was sealed. She would face the galaxy itself if it meant giving her child that chance. The next day, the humans began their most dangerous work. They prepared the artificial spine. Glowing with faint blue light, each fiber was alive with energy, waiting to connect mind and body. The mother stood close, her hands shaking. Other aliens watched with disgust, whispering their judgment. "Monsters," one muttered. "Reckless fools," said another. But the humans did not stop. They worked as if the voices did not exist. When the system was tested for the first time, the child's body shuddered. Alarms rang, lights flashed red. The mother screamed, "Stop! She is dying!" But the doctor's voice cut through the chaos. "No, her body is fighting, let her fight." The child gasped, her eyes wide, then fell back into stillness. Her chest rose and fell weakly. The machines calmed. But the fear in the mother's heart burned deeper. The council sent another warning, harsher than before. "Cease this madness, or we will shut you down by force." The humans gathered to discuss. Some argued for safety, others demanded to continue. Finally, the doctor spoke. "If they come to stop us, let them come. But we will not stop while this child breathes." The mother listened, her soul torn between terror and awe. She had never seen such defiance. Her people bowed to law, bowed to fear, bowed to fate. But the humans bowed to nothing. Not even the stars themselves that night. She held her daughter in her arms. Her tears fell softly onto the child's still face. She whispered, "The galaxy wants you silent, but they want you alive." The child's lips moved faintly, a weak smile on her face, and in that moment, the mother knew she would never turn back, even if the galaxy called it a crime. Even if the council came with punishment, she would stand beside the humans, for they were the only ones willing to fight fate itself. The medical hall no longer felt like a place of rest. It became a battlefield of wires, lights, and sleepless faces. The humans worked day and night, building what no species had ever dared to build. An artificial bridge between mind and body, a path for a paralyzed child to walk again. The alien mother watched in silence, her heart heavy with fear, yet burning with fragile hope. She saw humans move like tireless machines. Their hands steady, their eyes sharp. One drew designs on glowing tablets. Another shaped living fibers in vats of light. Others tested circuits that sparked with blue fire. Every failure was thrown aside, every success was studied. They were building the impossible, piece by piece. The spine was the key. A column of living wires and artificial nerves. It glowed faintly in the dim light, pulsing as if alive. "This will carry the signals her body cannot," the doctor explained. Her voice was calm, but her hands shook as she held the creation. It was fragile, untested, and full of risk, but it was the only hope. The mother stepped closer, her voice cracked with fear. "If this fails, what will happen?" The doctor met her eyes. "Then we will try again," she said simply. It was not arrogance, it was human stubbornness. They did not fear failure, they only feared giving up. The first test was small. The artificial system was connected to the child's arm. Tiny sparks flowed through the wires. The mother held her breath. The girl's fingers twitched faintly, then fell still. The humans recorded every detail, their eyes shining. To the mother it felt like nothing, but to them, it was the first victory. Word of the experiment spread. Other aliens crowded the observation halls. Watching with suspicion and awe, some muttered, "Madness," others whispered, "What if they succeed?" The Galactic Council sent spies to observe. Their reports carried warnings. Humans are breaking the sacred law, but the humans kept building. Their hands refused to stop. The process grew harder each day. The child's fragile body struggled to accept the changes. Sometimes her breathing faltered. Sometimes her heart slowed. The mother wept at her bedside. "Am I killing you with hope?" she whispered. But when the child opened her eyes, there was no fear in them, only trust. As if she knew her mother and the humans were fighting for her life. The second trial nearly ended in disaster. When the artificial spine was linked deeper, the child's body convulsed. Machines screamed with red alarms. The mother cried out, trying to rush forward. But the doctor held her back. Wait. Her body must choose. The child's skin turned pale. Her lips trembled. Then slowly the convulsions stopped. Her chest rose again, weak but steady. The humans collapsed with relief. To them it was progress. To the mother, it was terror. Still, the work continued every night. The humans pushed the limits further. They crafted nerve links thinner than hair. They built muscle fibers powered by living cells. They designed a control system that listened to the girl's brain. It was science and madness woven together. And in the center of it all was a child too weak to move, but too strong to give up. One evening, the mother sat with the doctor. Her voice was tired, her eyes red from tears. "Why do you do this?" she asked. No other species would risk punishment or death, or failure for someone not their own. The doctor leaned back, her face shadowed with exhaustion. "Because we are human," she said softly. "Because when we see someone suffer, we fight it. Even if the whole galaxy tells us not to." The mother's heart shook. She had never understood such thinking. Her own people accepted fate as unchangeable. But these fragile beings, weaker than most species, were the ones who refused to bow to fate. The final stages began. The artificial spine was ready to be fully connected. Every human in the hall gathered, silent but burning with determination. The mother held her daughter's hand, whispering prayers. If this failed, there would be nothing left. If it worked, a miracle would be born. As the system powered up, the air filled with a faint hum. Blue light flowed through the wires like rivers of energy. The child's body trembled. Her chest rose faster. Her eyes flickered open. The mother gasped, clutching her daughter's hand tighter, but the child was not in pain. Her lips curved into the faintest of smiles. The system was working. The humans did not cheer. They only nodded and began checking every signal. Every wire. For them, the work was not finished. But the mother knew something had changed for the first time. Her daughter's body had listened to her mind. It was only the beginning. But it was a beginning she had once believed impossible. The galaxy could threaten them. The council could punish them. But the mother no longer cared, for she had seen it with her own eyes. Humans had built the impossible, and her child was at the edge of a new future. The medical hall was silent. The machines hummed softly, glowing with pale blue light. The alien mother sat by her daughter's side, her hands trembling, her heart heavy with fear and hope. For weeks, the humans had worked without rest. Now the moment had come, the final test. The artificial spine was ready. It pulsed faintly with light, like a heartbeat of its own. Every wire, every fiber, every nerve link had been tested again and again. But no one knew if the child's body would accept it. No one knew if the mind of a paralyzed girl could command something not born of nature. The doctor stood at the edge of the room, her tired face calm, her eyes burning with fire. She looked at her team of humans. "Today we see if the bridge holds," she said. Her voice was quiet, but every word carried weight. They all knew the risk. If the system failed, the child's life could slip away in seconds. The mother bent low, pressing her forehead to her daughter's. "My love," she whispered, "whatever happens, know that I am proud of you." The child's eyes, wide and full of innocence, blinked slowly. Her lips formed a faint word. "Walk." The doctor gave the order. "Begin." The machines whirred, the lights brightened. The artificial spine connected fully for the first time. Blue energy flowed through the child's body. Her chest rose sharply as if she had been struck by lightning. Her small frame trembled on the bed. The mother gasped, nearly crying out. But the doctor's hand stopped her. "Wait," she whispered, her eyes fixed on the monitors. The child's fingers twitched. At first so faintly it could have been a trick of the light. But then slowly her hand moved. One finger bent, then another. The mother's breath caught in her throat. She pressed her hand to her mouth. Tears streaming down her face, the room filled with gasps. The alien observers leaned closer, eyes wide with disbelief. One muttered, "Impossible," another whispered, "It lives." The humans did not cheer. They only focused harder, adjusting signals. Watching every change, to them this was not victory yet. It was only the first step. The child's arm lifted, weak and shaky. Her small hand reached toward her mother's face. The mother's heart broke with joy. For years she had carried her daughter in her arms, and now for the first time her daughter reached back. Her trembling fingers brushed against her mother's cheek. The touch was faint, but it was real. The mother sobbed, clutching the hand as if it were a miracle. The doctor gave a single nod. "Proceed," she said, her voice tight with emotion. The humans adjusted the system, sending signals deeper. The child's legs, motionless since birth, quivered. The muscles trembled as if waking from a long sleep. Her toes curled faintly beneath the blanket. The mother cried out, falling to her knees. "She moves!" she screamed. "She moves!" The child's breathing grew fast, her body shaking under the strain. "Hold her steady," the doctor ordered. The humans worked quickly, adjusting flows. Keeping the fragile balance, every second was a razor's edge between life and death. But the girl's eyes remained open. Wide with determination, she whispered again, her voice weak but clear. "Walk." The doctor looked at the mother. "Help her," she said. The mother blinked in shock. "Now? She is too weak." But the doctor shook her head. "She must try." With trembling hands, the mother lifted her daughter from the bed. Her body was light, fragile as glass. The humans placed support frames around her. Guiding her legs into position, the mother held her close. Whispering prayers, the child stood, not by her own strength, but with the help of wires and machines. Her legs shook violently, threatening to collapse, but then slowly, her foot moved one step, a soundless step on the smooth floor, then another. The hall was silent. Every alien, every human, every machine seemed to hold its breath. The paralyzed child, once condemned to a lifetime of stillness, took her first steps. The mother cried aloud, her voice breaking, "My child, you walk." Her tears fell freely, her hands clinging to her daughter's small frame. The child's lips curved into the faintest smile. Her voice was soft, but it carried through the room. "Mama, walking." The humans exhaled as one. Some smiled faintly, some wiped their eyes. But the doctor only whispered, "This is only the beginning." Outside the hall, voices of doubt turned into silence. The alien observers, once mocking, now stared in disbelief. The Galactic Council's spies rushed to send messages. The law had been broken. The impossible had been made real. The galaxy would not forgive, but in that room, none of it mattered. The mother knelt, holding her daughter close. She whispered through her tears, "Humans, you have given her life." The girl leaned into her embrace, her trembling voice soft. "Mama, I will run." And for the first time, the mother believed it. The medical hall still echoed with the sound of small footsteps. The paralyzed child had walked, even if only a few shaky steps. The alien mother held her daughter tightly, her tears flowing like rivers. For years, she had dreamed of this moment, but never believed she would see it. Her child, once motionless as stone, now clung to her with trembling arms. The humans stepped back, silent, their faces weary but proud. They had not celebrated with cheers or shouts. They only watched, their eyes filled with quiet fire. For them, the work was not about glory. It was about victory against fate itself. The mother could not stop whispering, "You walk, my child. You walk?" Her daughter smiled faintly, her small voice weak. "Mama, walking?" The mother's heart broke with joy. It felt as if the universe itself had bent for this single miracle. But outside the walls of the hall, the storm was rising. The Galactic Council had heard the reports. Laws had been broken, traditions shattered. What the humans had done was not only forbidden, it was dangerous to the balance they claimed to protect. And now, the Council demanded justice. Messengers arrived, tall envoys wrapped in robes of authority. Their voices echoed cold through the station. "You have broken the sacred law," they declared. "You have altered life against the balance. You have defied the galaxy itself." The humans stood together, silent but unyielding. The doctor stepped forward, her tired eyes meeting the council's gaze. "We gave a child her future," she said, her voice steady. "Is that a crime?" The envoys hissed with anger. "Yes," they replied. "To break the law is always a crime." The mother felt her heart twist. Her daughter clung to her leg. Unaware of the weight of these words to the mother, the answer was clear. If giving her child life was a crime, then she was guilty too. The council demanded the experiment be destroyed. The child's artificial spine removed. The mother fell to her knees, crying out, "No! You cannot take this from her." Her voice broke the silence of the hall. The humans stood taller, their hands clenched. One engineer whispered fiercely, "They will have to fight us to take her." The mother looked at the humans with wide eyes. These fragile beings, smaller and weaker than many alien species, were ready to face the power of the galaxy for her child. Her heart trembled with shock and awe. She whispered to herself, "Why do they fight for us when no one else would?" The doctor turned to her, hearing the words. "Because we are human," she said softly. "Because no life should be abandoned." The council's envoys grew louder. They warned the station, "If you stand with humans, you stand against the galaxy." But something unexpected happened. Other aliens who had witnessed the miracle stepped forward. A reptilian voice hissed, "If this is crime, then perhaps the law is wrong," a winged alien muttered. "I saw her move, I saw hope." The council's power cracked. Doubt began to spread. The mother watched in shock. Her daughter's first steps were more than a miracle for one family. They were the spark of rebellion, the proof that the impossible could be changed, and it was humans of all species who had lit that fire. The child sat in her mother's lap, her small body trembling from the strain. She looked up at her mother and whispered, "Mama." "Run one day?" The mother pressed her forehead against the child's, her tears falling onto her daughter's cheeks. "Yes, my love," she said, her voice breaking. "One day you will run, and no law, no council, no galaxy will stop you." The humans stood behind her. Silent but strong, they had defied fate, broken the law, and risked punishment. And yet they did not regret it, for in their eyes, this was the meaning of being human, to fight for hope. No matter the cost, the mother felt her heart overflow with awe. She had once feared them, once doubted them. But now she saw the truth. Humans were not reckless dreamers. They were warriors of the impossible, fighters who challenged fate itself, and protectors of those who could not protect themselves. The council's final warning echoed through the halls. "This is not the end. The galaxy will not forgive." The doctor turned, her face calm. "Then let the galaxy remember," she said. "We are human, and we will never stop." The mother held her daughter tighter, her voice trembling as she whispered, "You gave her life. You gave me hope." She looked at the humans with eyes full of gratitude and shock. In that moment, she knew the galaxy had changed forever. Not because of laws, not because of councils, but because of the fire inside these strange, fragile beings called humans. And though punishment might come, though enemies might rise, the mother's heart was unshaken, for she had seen her daughter walk, and no power in the universe could take that memory away.